So the Lakers, who have been imploding for mostly every day since seemingly forever, have become one big dysfunctional salad. Here's a couple of stories that broke yesterday. Number one, that Kurt and Linda Rambis overruled Jeannie Buss and the Buss family on hiring Ty Lue, who we thought 2 days ago was a done deal. Here was the second one that came down yesterday. The people close to Jeannie Buss are telling her to trade LeBron. Okay. I do believe, I talked to somebody close to LeBron last night, I do believe LeBron would demand a trade at different times in his career, but he won't now. He's in L.A., his wife, his kids, they like the community. He's got the homes, he's got the business, he's got his family. I think there was a point in LeBron's life he would have just said, get me out of here. LeBron's got his rings, he's got his legacy, he's got his titles, he's got his money, he's got his brand. I think LeBron's really frustrated right now. But I've also been told that he and Rich Paul are just standing back. They're not imposing their will. And there's always a sense that LeBron's running everything. They're not imposing their will. They're sitting back and watching it happen. And what they're probably thinking is today, we should have imposed our will. They have not. The Lakers are starting to feel like, and this is weird because they've always had money, they're starting to feel like a Powerball winner. You ever seen those Powerball winners where they don't even know how to spend the money? And all of a sudden they buy like 6 horses, a hovercraft, 9 jet skis, and a tiger to roam the backyard and 4 Winnebagos. The Lakers literally, they land LeBron with their lump sum payment, the greatest free agent ever, and then they're like, all right, let's get Rondo. He can't shoot. I know. How about Lance Stevenson? He's weird. Yeah, I know. How about JaVale McGee? He's an odd bird. Uh-huh. Well, what about Michael Beasley? He's trouble, doesn't last anywhere. I know, but we got all this money. Let's have the Rambis family run everything. Let's have the people that really matter, LeBron, and the coach that really fits him, Ty Lue. Let's alienate him. What? They don't know what to do. They got that lump sum LeBron payment, and they've just made bad purchases ever since. Players that don't fit LeBron, guys that can't shoot. Kurt Rambis struggled as a coach. Now they have families, and I know the Rambis family. I like them. But you cannot, one of the things about sports is nothing in sports is as corrosive as bad ownership. You can fire a coach, you can fire a GM, you can trade a player. But the reason the Detroit Lions don't have a Super Bowl, and the reason the Cleveland Browns don't have a Super Bowl, and the reason the Bears should have more is they've historically had bad ownership. The Raiders, in the last 10 years, not great ownership. You can't overcome it with draft picks. You can't. It all starts at the top. And right now, let's be honest about this. I've been saying this for 5 months, and I get pushback living in Los Angeles. This is worse than you think. It's just now all coming out. Like, it is worse than you think. You know when a president leaves the White House and somebody writes a book and they're like, oh, my, I knew it was a little crazy. Oh, holy hell, it was really bad. They're going to write books about this White House. It's going to be worse than you think. This is a mess. And I'll tell you what's really scary if you're LeBron. Monty Williams chose Phoenix. Let that bake. Phoenix is coaching purgatory. Monty Williams is talented. Chose Phoenix over the Lakers. We should have all seen this. I should have seen this. Paul George chose Westbrook over LeBron. They had brands. We knew what they were. Kevin Durant, LeBron are tight. Probably whispered in his ear. Tough to play with. I think LeBron would demand a trade at other times in his life. But now it's family. Now it's a wife. Now it's his kids. Now it's their schools. We can all relate to that. Even rich people have the same. Tom Brady's worried about where his kids are going to school. LeBron James is worried about moving his kids around the country. I know you think, oh, he's rich. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. It matters for Brady. It matters for Kobe. It matters for LeBron. You want your kids in the same school. You don't want them bouncing around the country. They've already sacrificed because you're a star. If you're Kobe, you're Brady, you're LeBron. I don't think he's going to demand a trade. But I think now we all thought that LeBron and the Lakers were these two massive, well-run brands. I think the Lakers now hurt LeBron. And I think deep down, if he didn't have the rings, the title, the net worth, and the businesses, he'd be freaking out. I think now he's just discouraged, disappointed, disillusioned, but I don't think he'll demand a trade. But this, they'll write books about this Laker team in this White House down the road. This is just the stuff that's getting out. Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Well, terrible ending to the Celtics season in a Game 5 gentleman's sweep that ended with Kyrie Irving going 6 for 21 and sitting on the bench for the final 8 minutes. But the way this 2019 Celtics season went, we should have known this all along. And as tempting as it was to pretend this regular season wasn't going to matter and they were going to kick it into gear for the postseason, we pretty much knew all we needed to know about this team going into the playoffs. They have the talent, but they don't have the cohesion, which is what we questioned all year. Kyrie questioned that this year. And after the game, Brad Stevens took the blame for that.
Sound.
All right. I don't think we have the sound of that. But he said, I'll be the first to say this, as far as any other coach, any other year I've been a coach together, that's on you. His playoff record is now 27-29. I don't think this is any one particular person's fault with the Celtics. Kyrie's going to get a lot of blame because, he left LeBron and he wanted his own team. And I think Brad Stevens does deserve some of the blame here because part of being an NBA coach is managing egos and minutes and setting up a system that works with the players that you have. It's not college where, this is the system and we're going to recruit players that work within this system.
Right.
And, we're going to develop them to work within the system. This is the pros. You have Kyrie Irving. You have Gordon Hayward. You have Jason Tatum. You have Jaylen Brown.
Well, it's a players' league,
right,
not a coaches'
league.
league.
Incredible amount. And that's not to say that coaching doesn't matter. It certainly does, as we are seeing around the league with the great coaches making it as far as they are. And I'm not saying Brad Stevens isn't a great coach. I'm just saying that this idea that there's a system that has to, and the players have to fit within that system, we know that doesn't work. We know that that's not how the NBA works. I feel like this is a huge disappointment for the Celtics overall, not just for Kyrie.
Yeah, no, it's, I just kept thinking they'd figure it out. I'm just like, when you got a bunch of smart, talented people in any business, like I've always said before, I've always hired smart, not necessarily people who knew about radio and TV. Give me smart people, they'll figure it out. I always figure when you get smart people, like remember when Harden and Chris Paul came together and I said it's going to work, and a lot of the analytic people said it won't work, and I said, they're two smart dudes. They'll sit down, have a glass of vino and go, okay, I'm going to shoot a little less. Okay, smart people usually figure it out. Kyrie's a pretty smart guy. Brad's a pretty smart guy. Al Horford, pretty smart guy. Doesn't work.
It's more than just egos. It's style of play. And to me, it's setting up roles at the beginning of the season. Everyone should know what their role is, should feel comfortable with it, should feel empowered with it, and want to be the best at what that is. But the other problem is it's an incredibly young team with a lot of unproven guys. They're trying to get contracts. It's just too much of a good thing almost with the Celtics.
It's almost like it's a bunch of Kyrie and a bunch of B guys, and sometimes when Kyrie does his thing, the B guys become C+ guys, and they're not as effective. Like, I like Jason Tatum. This year, Jason Tatum, I didn't like as much. Last year as a rookie, I loved him in the postseason. This year in the postseason, I'm like, it's just not as fluid. It just doesn't feel like he connects.
The team completely lacked balance, is what it felt like. So Kurt and his wife, Linda Rambis, are the two most powerful voices in the Lakers. It's appearing. They basically prevented the Lakers from hiring Ty Lue as the next Lakers head coach. The report from our own Nick Wright, it's become apparent that the Buss family and Rob Pelinka signed off on hiring Lue last week, but the Rambises were against the hire and convinced the Lakers to hold off. There were a lot of reports circulating yesterday about what exactly the stickling point was for this contract not working. There was reports that they wanted to have Jason Kidd as an assistant coach. The years matched up, basically, which is what Nick said, with LeBron being with the Lakers. So the 3 years, $18 million, which is unprecedented for a head coach, especially a championship level head coach. So Ty Lue was smart to stay away from this. There's kind of a feeling like Ty Lue doesn't have any other options. He does. He won a championship.
Well, he's a player
and went to finals. He's a former player. He is not in a desperate situation at all.
He's got money. He's got a ring. He's fine.
He's got plenty of money. He's got a ring. He's chilling. He wants to coach again, I'm sure. But if this is not the right situation, he's already been a head coach. He knows what he needs to put around him to be successful. Well, and why would you want Jason Kidd, even if you were willing to bend on the Jason Kidd situation if you had a longer deal? Why are you telling the head coach who his staff should be? What do you know about putting together a staff?
The reason this didn't work also is because Ty's got money and a title. He said, give me 5 years, and the Lakers said 3, and Ty, by the way, walked away from this.
Yes, as he should have.
He had the leverage. He's like, I don't need a job. I got $20 million in the bank. I got a title. He walked away from them So once you have leverage in life and you have options, you don't have to sign contracts that you don't feel benefit you long term.
There's no coach that should sign that contract.
That's a rookie coach contract.
That is not an appropriate contract. It's not even reasonable. Something about LA basketball with the coaching situation is weird. Finally, Stephen Jones appears to be putting some public pressure on Dak, Amari Cooper, and Ezekiel Elliott to take team-friendly deals. He is clearly playing there's the lots of benefits to being a Dallas Cowboy card, and this is what he had to say about it. Okay, we don't have the sound for this either, I'm sorry. But he said, if we can talk them into not maxing out, doing well but not max, that allows us to have other good football players around them, and we all know what happens. You look at the TV booths and look at what these players do off the field. If we can put Super Bowl rings on these guys, they'll be legends around the area for many, many years to come. What they may give up a little bit in their contract, they should be able to invest in a Cowboy and making our teams better. I disagree with ever telling a player to take less money, especially coming from the owner. It's like, cool, you take less money, then I'll take less money. I understand it's a salary cap situation, but you can't ask Dak to take less money. And this is the weakest argument to me about it, because Dak's been on a rookie 4th-round contract, and you haven't put the talent around him to get to a Super Bowl.
Well, they're going to say, yes, we have. They're going to say we have the best linebacking duo in football. We have the best running back. We've had the best offensive line. We got you Amari, and we actually have a lockdown one. So the Cowboys aren't going to buy that pitch from the agent. They're going to say,
have they been in a Super Bowl?
Well, they're going to say that's a Dak issue. That's not an us issue. That's you're a 4th-round pick for a reason.
Maybe he's only one player,
but he's the quarterback.
I think that Dak has all the leverage here, and I don't like the idea
leverage.
I hate the idea of players taking less money. I don't think it's reasonable. I think it's completely inappropriate to even talk about players taking less money.
Yes.
And I know everyone's going to point to the Tom Brady situation. That's an outlier situation. No matter what way you spin it, it's an outlier situation. He won a Super Bowl incredibly early in his career. He knew what kind of ownership and coaching he had around him. He has married to a woman that's worth $400 million.
Yes.
It's not a comparable situation. There's no reason to actually take less money.
Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks.